Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting for Tuesday, January the 11th, 2022. This is our first board meeting for the year. Wow. So welcome, everybody. Tonight, we'll start out with the invocation. I'll ask Alderman Barnhill if he would offer that. And following that, I want to ask Vice Mayor if she would lead the Pledge of Allegiance. And she's down in the audience at the podium for a purpose, and you'll see that in a few minutes. So if you'll stand with me and Alderman Barnhill.
Would you bow, please? Heavenly Father, again, we come to you in prayer tonight. Thank you for this great nation that we live in. For all the freedoms that we enjoy, we know that we are truly a blessed nation. We just have to look around at some of the countries that are different from us, whose challenges now are such that their freedoms are being eroded. We ask that you give the blessings to those people that protect our freedoms, whether it's the military or whether it's the police departments or the fire departments or the other first responders that we have. We ask your blessings upon all of these. We know that it is a difficult time in the COVID environment that we're under, as well as the erosion of our freedoms and other issues that we have. We also ask your blessings upon each of us as aldermen. We make decisions. Give us spiritual wisdom and guidance. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
All right. Flag's right there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody needs to
Okay,
put their name tags up.
Yeah, turn your name tag up so people will know who you are. Thank you, Alderman Berger. I do want to call the roll. Alderman Barnhill.
Present.
Vice Mayor Blanton. We know she's here. Alderman Hanson.
Here.
Alderman Peterson.
Here.
Alderman Berger.
Here.
Alderman Brown.
Here.
Alderman Potts.
Here.
And down on the end, Alderman Baggett.
Present.
Thank you. Okay, the next item is an opportunity for citizens to make comments for items that are not on the agenda. The practice is to fill out a speaker card if you plan on speaking. I have two, but they're for items on the agenda, so I don't see anyone else rushing forward, so we'll continue to move forward.
Mayor, you've got.
Did you fill out a speaker card? Next time, you can fill it out and then give it to Hannah.
Nobody at the desk out front when I showed up.
They're there at the podium. Let me ask you this, what item are you speaking on?
I was gonna speak about the proposed city hall.
Okay, you have 2 minutes to speak about the proposed city hall. Give your name and address.
Yep, Devin Joseph Phillips.
Come to the mic and,
Devin Joseph Phillips, address 2056 Belmont Circle, Franklin, Tennessee 37069. So during the work session earlier, I was, I'd heard about that this building is insufficient and we potentially could use a building that costs between 75 million and 115 million to better utilize space, but I didn't hear anything about a survey of how many people come in this building a day, how many people utilize this building, as well as how we could save money and potentially outsource, not outsource to different cities, countries, states, people, but someone who just works from home. When you call the water department, you get somebody on the phone. We could utilize that space and they don't have to be here. They could have a computer that costs, let's just say, $25,000 for one computer. We could have 10 of them. That's $250,000, I believe, and that still saves a ton of money for the city for them to work remotely. Or we could buy cheaper computers, give better salaries, and accomplish the same thing minus 75 million to 115 million. Now, I know that we like big buildings, extravagant buildings. If the fire department and the police department could share a building, that could be one thing. If we need other buildings, we could talk to the county and maybe share the old hospital on, West Main? There's a lot of other options besides $115 million for just about the same amount of space for it to be better utilized. Because no one's going to come down here, because they're not coming down here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your comments. Now we'll go to communications from the Williamson County Commission. I have none. We'll now go to the approval of the minutes from December the 14th, 2021 work session and Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting, and I will consider a motion. Thank you, Alderman Peterson. Is there a second? Thank you, Alderman Berger. Any discussion, any other additions, corrections? Let's vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes, sir.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to the Vice Mayor, who has a special recognition she wants to do.
Thank you, Mayor. I almost feel like I'm in timeout down here, but anyway, it is my honor tonight as Chairman of the Tree Commission to recognize Skip Hebert. He preceded me on the Tree Commission. He actually joined the Tree Commission in 2009. He is a landscape architect by trade, but recently retired. So he figured he would retire from us as well. And it is just, not only does his expertise has played a huge role in our decision-making as a tree board, but for those of you who don't know, he also has an alter ego as a clown that has been an entertainer at our Arbor Day. So Skip, if you will come up here and join me.
Please tell me you don't have any photographs.
You know, I dug a little bit today and got sidetracked. So I also, if y'all want to, I want to recognize, not all of our tree commissioners could be here this evening, but we have Michael and Beth, who, actually she is the original tree commissioner. And I also want to recognize Miss Ann, who was the commissioner of the tree commission prior to me. Short and simple, but definitely Skip Hebert, with deep appreciation for your service and dedication to the Tree Commission, 2009 to 2021. You know, people, unless you attend Arbor Day or one of our wonderful educational opportunities that we have not been able to host in a while, the Tree Commission is part of what we're required to do to keep our Tree City USA designation. We do also host Arbor Day, but anything that has to do with trees, they tend to lean on us, and we hope for them to lean on us more with our expertise. So you're going to be sorely missed, but we are blessed that you were a part of our team for so long. So,
Thank you, Brandy.
thank you. Do you want to say anything?
Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Mayor and Board of Mayor and Alderman. I've truly been blessed the last 12 years. It's been an honor to serve the city of Franklin in such a capacity. I do love trees. I love all things environmental. It's kind of a passion for me. And Franklin is in good hands, and I know it will do well going into the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Skip. We appreciate your service and volunteer, and 11 years, 12 years? 12, wow. Thank you so much. Are there any miscellaneous reports tonight? Seeing none, we'll move to the consent agenda, and all items on the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature by the governing body. They will be approved as recommended by committee or staff by one motion of the governing body. Tonight, we're considering items number 19 through 25. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Who's that seconded?
Mr. Brown?
Thank you, Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 3, this is a public hearing Consideration of ordinance 2021-04, an ordinance to rezone 13.81 acres from the State Residential District to Plan PD 3.12 District for the property located west of Hillhaven Lane and north of Arsenal Drive, located at 171 Hillhaven Lane. Joey?
Thank you. The property consists of 13.81 acres and is currently vacant. Envision Franklin places this parcel in the conservation subdivision design concept, which recommends that 50% of the property be preserved and remain as open space. The proposed rezoning to Plan District with the corresponding development plan is consistent with recommendations of Envision Franklin and can be supported. The development plan is also on review for tonight's agenda. Staff recommends approval. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, this is a public hearing. I do have one speaker. That's Drake Reeder. Apparently, he represents the applicant. Did you want to make comments? You have 2 minutes.
All right. I'm Drake with Gamble Design Collaborative, and with me is Mr. Wayne Weaver, who's the CEO of Community Housing Partnership. It's been a while since we've been in front of you, so just wanted to kind of let you know how we got to where we are. We have been working diligently and even with staff to kind of shore up some of the utility concerns that came up during the development plan stage. We appreciate the city's help as we've been working through this, trying to bring some affordable and workforce housing to Franklin. We're here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Any other public comments? If not, I'm going to close the public hearing. We'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. With a second by Alderman Berger. Any discussion?
Just one question. What about Lot 11? Is that out now? I tried to look back at it and I couldn't quite see.
That is a condition of approval, and we do agree to those conditions. The
Thank
staff
you.
did.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Alderman Baggett.
I think my only comment would be, as this is in Ward 4, there have been some neighbor communication about, in person and via email, about some of the traffic impacts and maybe looking at some of the intersections there on that Hillhaven, Arsenal, Grenadier, and Cadet, all of those and the traffic impacts of this, some stop signs, just making sure all those intersections, because it is, when you get out onto Liberty Pike there, at the intersection there, that is so close to Matt Catcher. Just want to make sure that the staff has taken a look at all of that and make sure we, prioritize safety at that intersection, because it's already, difficult. Lines of sight there are difficult as well. So just want to make sure that we have those addressed, have had those addressed, and maybe staff could communicate with me offline some of that information. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments from Alderman? If not, are we ready to vote?
Mr. Mayor?
Alderman Potts?
Yes, sir, I did have a question. This is more so in regard to our existing ordinances and maybe what the developer was going to do, but are there any restrictions or guidelines for structure color on the hillscape?
Joey?
We don't really speak to color per se in the zoning ordinance, other than prohibiting bright or neon type colors, and that's mainly more for commercial purposes. But there's really no color scale for development within the hillside, or within just underneath the hillside below the HHO.
And you said not white or bright colors, things like that?
Yeah, neon, bright colors. That's what we really regulate.
Okay, thank you. The reason why I was asking is the residence that's actually adjacent to this property has recently painted their entire two-story white structure, or their single-family home, completely white, and now it actually pops up off of the hill. So that's why I wanted to know if the developer had any plans regarding the color of their structures.
Thank you for your clarification. Any other questions or comments? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Hanson?
Yes.
Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Alderman Potts?
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 4, this is a public hearing consideration resolution 2021-51, a resolution approving a development plan for Hillhaven PUD subdivision for the property located west of Hillhaven Lane and north of Arsenal Drive, located at 171 Hillview Lane.
Thank you. The Hillhaven PUD subdivision consists of a total of 43 dwelling units. That's 11 single-family lots and 8 multiplex buildings with 4 attached dwelling units in each building. And Vision Franklin places the subject property in the conservation subdivision design concept, which recommends 50% of the property be preserved for open space. The parcel lies adjacent to Roper's Knob at the end of Hillhaven Lane. The applicant has responded to the recommendations of Envision Franklin by offering a mixture of housing options while preserving hillside views the community is accustomed to from the side of our natural feature. Lot 11 is proposed to be in a location of more than 14% of natural slope, which goes against our zoning ordinance. As a condition of approval, Lot 11 must be removed from the Hillhaven PUD subdivision plan. And just as a general project consideration, this does include 3 lots that are well below the minimum lot size within any of the city's base zoning districts. These 3 lots are an average of 2,500 square feet per lot. The size of the lots and the proposed setbacks can accommodate a single-family home, but not necessarily on-site parking or a private yard. Open spaces are provided nearby within the development, and off-street parking is provided adjacent to these lots. Normally, staff would not support a lot this small. However, due to the mission of the organization developing the site, the limited number of sub-sized lots being proposed, and the accommodation of parking and open space within vicinity of these lots, staff can support these in these very specific case. Just want to make that known. So staff recommends approval with conditions of Resolution 2021-51, as does Planning Commission. Thank you.
And this is a public hearing. Mr. Reeder, did you want to make any additional comments about the project? Thank you. Anybody else want to speak to this project? If not, we're going to close the public hearing, and I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second the motion.
Thank you, Alderman Hanson. Open for discussion. Anybody want to make any comments?
Mr.
Go ahead,
Mayor,
Alderman
again,
Baggett.
since it's in the ward, the open space there that's orange, because we were not here when this was originally brought forth. This is new for us, so we didn't have some time for feedback on that. Is that going to contain any kind of buffer to Matt Catcher in that open space? It's designated open space on the materials. That right there, yeah. I guess, is that going to just be an open field with line of sight? Or is it going to, will it have some landscaping?
Yeah, that's part of our open space that's required by the city. So as we get through site plan, we'll bring forth a plan for it. I think our goal is for it to be a pocket park, so it will have some landscaping. I'm not sure about a buffer to Matt Catcher exactly.
Yeah, and buffer may not have been the right word, but, just making sure to maintain some of that aesthetic, but, trees. Yeah,
That comes forward with site plan, is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
the site plan, thank you.
Okay. The policy is to fill out a card if you plan on speaking.
There was nobody, I've been here since 6.
Right there at the post,
There was
there's a
always
card.
an officer.
And
Inside.
I'm going to recognize you and give you 2 minutes, but I want you to understand the protocol that we go through. And you walk back there right now and look and see if there's a card next to that post, please.
They were normally outside at,
No, sir, they're not.
so policy change?
No, sir. They're right there next to the post. If you're going to speak, get a card and fill it out and come up there right now. Otherwise, I'm not going to allow you to speak.
Okay, I can do that. Last year, there was somebody that took the cards and handed them to you.
Don't fill it out now. Come up here and please make your comments, and then you give,
And then fill it out.
I was
you
gonna
have
say,
1 minute.
I need about 30 seconds.
Okay.
Again, Devin Phillips, 2056 Belmont Circle, Franklin, Tennessee, 37069. Roper's Knob, was that, it used to take the mayor's permission and maybe the people who owned the land right there to get a tour of that hillside. and now we're just gonna give it away, cut all the trees and see it from Mac Hatcher? I mean, how much of Mac Hatcher is gonna be townhouses and homes before we realize that we're not a small town anymore and we're just a metropolis? Like, we might as well be Little Nashville at this point if we keep just giving every single piece of land away that people have been fighting, I know, 20, 30 years for certain parts of property. But the old school dies, the new school buys it, and then we just allow it. I'll fill this
I'm going to
out.
allow Joey to make some comments, if he would, about, you can sit down, and I'm going to give you some instructions also. As far as the hillside and Roper's Knob,
So the HHO, the Hillside Hillcrest Overlay, is our overlay that prevents development within our hillside areas to preserve those scenic vistas that we've been used to for so long. All the development with this proposal is beneath the HHO, and they are preserving 50% of the subject property. So all of the new construction is concentrated closer to where the existing neighborhood is located, and then the steeper slopes with all the growth will be preserved.
thank you. And now my instruction and offer to you is that you seem interested in what's happening at City Hall in the city of Franklin, and we welcome that. And I would ask that maybe you consider going through Citizens Government Academy, and you'll learn a lot of these things in addition to coming to the meeting. So, thank you. Now, no, sir, you're out of order. Sir, you're out of order. You're out of order.
We were already out.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I thought we did. Yep. I
we
did it.
did.
I think
Okay.
Randy seconded it.
Okay, you ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes, sir.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 5 is consideration resolution 2021-54, resolution approving a revised development plan for Christ Community Church for the property located west of Hillsborough Road and south of the Harpeth River in association with the Brownland Farms PUD. I've been told that we will ask for a deferral to April the 12th. We'll still have the public hearing, and I do have one speaker.
Correct, Mr. Mayor. On October 12th, 2021, the Christ Community Church Development Plan was deferred to this meeting. What this development plan does is it adjusts the boundaries of the existing PUD to align with those of the proposed Brownland Farm PUD. So it was deferred to this meeting and thought that the Brownland Farm PUD would be back before you at this point. The latest update on that development plan is that they are proceeding with an aimed date of the February Planning Commission meeting, which means that at the earliest, their public hearing at BOMA would be April 12th. So staff is recommending that this item be deferred to align with that on April 12th.
Okay, thank you. I've got Amy Wells that wanted to address this. You have 2 minutes, Ms. Wells.
Hi, I'm Amy Wells, 303 Gillette Drive, Franklin. I wanted to say congratulations to the new board members. Happy New Year and good evening. And on behalf of the 2,750-plus petitioners against the Brownland Farm development, we would like to ask you to please defer this resolution and review it with a project plan. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to close the public hearing now and would entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to defer this to the April 12th meeting to align with the Brownland Farm Development Plan.
Appropriate motion.
Second.
Second. Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion, other discussion from the board? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 6, this is consideration ordinance 2021-50, an ordinance to amend the FY 2021-22 budget.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. My name is Michael Walters-Young, your Budget and Strategic Innovation Manager. This evening, we have a brief presentation for you on Ordinance 2021-50, an ordinance to amend the City of Franklin budget for fiscal year 2022. This budget amendment contains 5 sub-amendments within it. They pertain to revenue modifications, mid-year cost of living adjustments, which you endorsed towards the end of last year, retiree payouts for the 16 retirees that were owed accrued leave when they left the organization by December 31st, the one-time sellback of vacation of up to 40 hours or 1 week of vacation for eligible employees, and various expense modifications throughout the funds. Among the highlights of this set of amendments, first is a series of revenue modifications. Local option sales tax has significantly outperformed original budgeted expectations year to date, so we have recommended an increase in that original budget of $1.5 million. We received good news of a $270,000 to replace the rest of our older traffic signals at 100% grant from the state of Tennessee. There is no match and no cost to the city of Franklin. So you'll see that both the revenue is above the line and the expense is below the line, and our traffic operations center and engineering folks are underway executing that. And the other large, sometimes it's good to hear yourself. The other large, at least somebody's listening, that's how you know. The other large revenue modification is in the city facilities tax. When we built Fire Station 7, we built it with an ambulance bay as well as a proportionate share of the costs of the driveway apron. That invoice has been sent to the county, and we expect receipt of our share, or their share of those costs back to the fund by the end of this fiscal year. Mid-year cost of living adjustments. This was the 2.5% COLA that went into effect effective July 1st across all funds, totals approximately $770,000. The retiree payouts that would be accrued sick and vacation leave for 16 retirees totaled $517,000. The vacation sellback for employees who took advantage of that program was roughly $315,000. And then the catch-all various expense modifications of $788,000, which includes the signals that I mentioned, the wayfinding initiative, which you received a presentation on several board meetings ago, replacing the parking garage counter system in 2nd and 4th Avenue garages, as well as additional monies for ongoing maintenance and software enhancements, which will make operations more efficient. The final slide is simply changes to fund balance. The general fund and the water management fund have no change in fund balance. The sanitation environmental services fund, stormwater funds, and hotel motel funds have decreased fund balance. And the city facilities tax, of course, has an increase in fund balance equivalent to the amount of the invoice to the county. With that, Mr. Mayor, I'm happy to take any questions from the board.
Okay, I have no speakers. So I'm going to declare the public hearing closed, and I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill.
Second.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, for the second. And we'll now open it up for discussion. Will you yield to the Vice Mayor?
Sure.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
I just want to say how lucky we are to have you, because you make it interesting and you're very thorough, and thank you, Michael Walters-Young.
Thank you, ma'am.
It was good to hear you twice.
Any other questions or comments? You ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
You've made his day.
I don't want to be on budget and finance, though. Yeah. I really appreciate it. Remember that. That is on the record.
The Vice Mayor frequently follows up with that statement.
Well, let's vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes, sir.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to item 7, which is ordinance 2021-39, an ordinance to amend Title 16, Chapter 1, Section 16 of the Franklin Municipal Code relative to maintenance of street trees in the right-of-way This is the second and final reading. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Baggett. Open for discussion. Would you like to make any comments?
No, sir.
Any other comments or questions? Ready to vote? Let's vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 8 is consideration ordinance 2021-46, an ordinance rezone 6.87 acres from regional commerce RC6 district to Plan PD 39.44 per 8,595 district for the property located north of Cool Springs Boulevard, east of MacHatcher Parkway, at 151 Cool Springs Boulevard, Haven, at Cool Springs PUD subdivision. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve?
Thank you, Alderman Hanson. Is there a
Second.
second? Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion? Ready to vote?
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead, Alderman Potts.
If I may, previously, when this came up for rezoning, I spoke directly to the height of this structure in relation to it being in R6, and how we did not have tiered zoning from R12 nearest the interstate down to more of a tiered approach as it approached Roper's Knob. That'll be something that I want to work with staff moving forward to ensure that as Joey made reference earlier regarding our HHO ordinances in regards to our hillscaping, is to make sure that we have tiered zoning as we approach all of these hills.
Any other comments? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to item number 9, which is Resolution 2021-92, a resolution to rescind resolution establishing Liberty Hills Pond as a regional stormwater detention facility.
Make a motion to defer this till January, is the date,
25th.
25th.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
And I'd like to have it put on the work session and the voting session.
Appropriate motion, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion, any other comments? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. With item 10, this is a public hearing, acknowledgment of the progress report on Resolution 2015-73, a resolution adopting a plan of services for the annexation of 4150 Clovercroft Road and the property immediately adjacent to the east by the city of Franklin. This is a no-vote item. This is just strictly legislatively, the state has asked us to do this and give the reports. So we have 3 of those, 10, 11, and 12, just FYI. Go ahead.
That's correct. This is an update on the plan of services for 2 properties on Clovercroft Road that were annexed in 2016. There's one outstanding obligation to annex the frontage of Clovercroft Road in front of these 2 properties. Since the last meeting, staff has already begun working on moving forward with trying to move forward with an annexation for those properties and looking at the ownership of the right-of-way. So we hope to have something to you within the year so that next time this comes before you, we will have, as a city, addressed all the outstanding obligations, and that would be the final report. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
And I have no speakers on this item, so I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. We'll move to item number 11, which is an acknowledgment of progress report on Resolution 2020-295, a resolution adopting a plan of services for the annexation of 2208 Crossway Drive and 1190 Lewisburg Pike to the city of Franklin.
This is an update on the plan of services for those 2 properties at Crossway Drive and Lewisburg Pike associated with the Tuckaway PUD development plan. At this time, the city has fulfilled all of its obligations outlined in the plan of services.
And I have no speakers. I'll declare this public hearing closed. We'll move on to item 12, which is acknowledgment of progress report on Resolution 2021-70, a resolution adopting a plan of services for the annexation of 8 properties west of Lewisburg Pike and south of Goose Creek Bypass for the city of Franklin.
And this plan of services is for 8 properties associated with the Southville PUD subdivision at the west side of Lewisburg Pike. And the city has fulfilled all of its obligations as outlined in the plan of services at this time. This will be the final report on this plan of services.
And I have no speaker cards, and so I'll declare this public hearing closed. We'll now go to item number 13, which is an ordinance 2021-45, an ordinance rezones .78 acres from office residential district to Plan PD 1.28 per 6,500 district for the property located north of West Main Street and west of Downs Boulevard, located at 1624 West Main Street. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Thank you, Alderman Peterson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 14, this is an ordinance to, 2021-47, an ordinance to rezone 2.24 acres from PD district to PD 11.61 district, for property located south of North Petway Street and east of Shawnee Drive, at 1101 Shawnee Drive, Shawnee PUD subdivision, establish a public hearing on February the 8th, 2022. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Is there a second? Thank you, Alderman Potts. Any discussion?
Yeah, I withheld, I don't know if it's this one or the next one. I think it's the,
What's this one?
is this one. Yeah, I withheld some comments at the work session for this. I think it's important for us to, I reiterate the comments that were made. The parking in the rear of this plan of the buildings does butt up back to West End Circle, and the lighting that would be placed at the rear of that property is very different than what's there presently. And with the proximity to those homes on West End Circle, I think that's a big concern. I understand that the zoning allows and mandates for the type of the parking to be behind the multifamily, but we have this situation where we have multifamily in such close proximity to the single family that I really think we need to be cognizant of that change, and the zoning would change. I think that I've heard the consent, or those that have spoken thus far, the consensus is that it's a positive project, and that we need this type of housing stock in our community. That does not, I think, remove our obligation to make sure that we do it right, and to do that, I think we need to look at none of these streets have sidewalks either, which is another, from a pedestrian standpoint, adding the additional units, and it's not just the units, it's the number of bedrooms as well. So the unit count may have gone up slightly, I believe, but the number of bedrooms of those units, adds more people, more traffic. So I echo the comments at the work session, but I did want to, since we were short on time, make those comments that I had. Lots of folks have reached out on this, and it's important for us to, I think, to do this right and support our partners at the Franklin Housing Authority, but do so in a way that maintains the character of the neighborhood.
Vice Mayor, and then I've got Alderman Brown.
Sure. I made comments also at the work session based on feedback from residents at West End Circle. And again, I did live in this area down on North Petway for several years. And while the initial building was duplex, they were viewed almost as single-family homes because of the yards being, it was just old-school development, and things were done differently. And you can go down Brookwood, which is kind of a couple of blocks away next to the county complex, and it'll give you the stock of what was there. And while I understand we're trying to add more, in this case, bedrooms than rooftops to accommodate the need for affordable housing, it doesn't need to be done to the detriment of the people that were almost in sync with when these were being built. They were built in tandem. And the infill development that's been done on West End Circle, and again, I'm not saying I'm not for this development. I will vote to support it, to move it to public hearing, but I think there's some work to be done. And while the zoning does require for parking to be in the back, I know that's the Nouveau Way, AKA AutoZone, it doesn't always mean it's appropriate. So, you know, we've got to make best judgments on behalf of the constituents of which it affects. Absent of that, we get to follow our gut. But I think our gut's not clean right now because we've got people that are saying, hey, this isn't work for me. So I will support it, but look forward to the public hearing.
Alderman Brown.
My only additional comment from the work session is likewise a lot of outreach, and I drove that area. You know, the one thing that I've heard from folks is no one's arguing the need for this in that community, West End Circle. Nobody's arguing that. Nobody's complaining about what we're putting there. What their challenge is let's do it right. Let's make sure that it doesn't impact us. So I think that's a real positive thing that we've got neighbors that are embracing the need for this right in their community. They just are looking for us to do the right thing here and how we do it. So I, too, am looking forward to the public hearing, which is why we'll move this forward.
Ready to vote? We're going to start from the bottom. Not necessarily the bottom. We'll start at the end. Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
And Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 15, consideration of Amendment 1 to the City of Franklin Contract Number 2020-0278 with AECom for pump station evaluation and WTP valve access in the amount of $78,511. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Is there a second? Thank you, Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote? I like this moving
You
from
want to
the
start at
other.
the bottom again?
Brown, you're getting quick.
When we say bottom, it's not referring to any of your qualifications,
Thank you.
personality, dress, or anything.
I'll reserve my snarky comments.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
And Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 16, consideration resolution 2021-181, a resolution to affirm compliance with federal Title VI regulations for 2022. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Alderman Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Berger. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. Item 17 is Resolution 2021-185, a resolution approving the continuation of COVID pay for city employees January 1st, 2022 through February 28th, 2022. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you,
with
Vice Mayor.
pride.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, and seconded by Alderman Peterson. Ready to vote? We'll start in the middle. Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
And Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
And Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Next is item number 18, which is consideration of appointment of Tyler Lamarinell to the Historic Zoning Commission, replacing Ken Scalf. I've interviewed this young man, and he's an architect with a lot of experience as far as historic architecture and renovations and things, and he's going to be a great fit. So I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Potts. Is there a second? Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Ready to vote? This is entertaining tonight. Alderman Barnhill.
You should do every other one.
We'll start at the top.
Well, let me change the. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Got skipped.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Passes
I'm gonna
unanimously.
try these alphabetically, maybe.
Before I ask for the last motion of the night, thank you for not making me vote tonight. Yeah, so I would entertain a motion to conclude this meeting and adjourn.
So
Mo-
moved.
oh.
So
Thank
moved.
you, Alderman
Second.
Burgers, seconded by Alderman Brown. All in favor say aye.